it's easy to take a relationship for granted because we are wired for. Hey, listeners, viewers, I thought that my introduction to my fourth interview with Dr. John Gray would be a wonderful breather show that will entice you to listen to our lengthy interview where he basically provides the secret to world peace, at least relationship peace, and drills down on the topic of overcoming ruts and relationship dysfunction and taking each other for granted and turning things around quickly and powerfully and easily with some simple tips. So please enjoy the recording that's intended to be an intro to the full-length show, but I think you're going to get a lot out of it here with this breather episode. Thank you. Oh my gosh, people, what can I say about John Gray? I think he's my all-time favorite podcast guest, and he was so generous to join me for the fourth time. It's been 5 years, almost exactly, since our first recording in January of 2019. And as listeners are familiar with, I was inspired the very next day to propose to Mia Moore after he was describing the ideal partner. And I said, oh my gosh, she's right there with me. What am I waiting for? So this man has had a profound impact on my life, dating back many years since his string of best-selling books started in the 90s. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and John Gray is known as the #1 best-selling relationship of all time with his series of books relating to that Mars and Venus theme. In particular, the release of Beyond Mars and Venus brought a whole new element to his life's work, and that is the hormonal underpinnings that influence modern relationship dynamics, especially the difficulties that we have as culture and gender roles evolve and advance from the dated examples of the previous generation. It also comes with a lot of challenges where we are still influenced by our primary biological drives. For the male, that is testosterone, and for the female, that's estrogen. But we're asked to kind of suppress those or intermingle those with our modern roles. And that's where we get into a lot of trouble. This it was an amazing show because this guy and his amazing life's work has the unique ability to just go off and like a wind-up toy and go in whatever direction he deems appropriate. And we get so many amazing insights. And as I was taking notes and following along carefully, I realized that he touched on topics that have probably been covered in literally a dozen different podcasts that I've published on this channel with experts where we talk intensely about the subject for a long time. He made a passing reference to the blue zones where I just recorded an entire show talking about some of the misappropriations of the blue zones insights and the true secrets to their longevity. And John's just got that on the top of his head as a short aside, and so many other ones. So let me give you a quick rundown of what's going to be covered in this amazing and fast-moving show. So if you start to fall behind or not pick up some of the baseline assumptions, please, please, please go back and listen to our previous 3 feature-length interviews, as well as my show titled The Essential Male and Female Relationships Assignments from John Gray, where I try to summarize all the content that he spoke about for hours and put together a really concrete action plan. But in this show, as I say at the end, we even go beyond Mars and Venus with fresh new insights. He's always got something cooking and continuing to grind hard, putting on his live seminars in Northern California, traveling around the world to do so, and also the great online content at marsvenus.com. So listen to our podcast episodes, jump over to his website, and consume some of that content. We tried to focus specifically in this episode about longtime couples stuck in somewhat of relationship ruts and why that happens. And he gets into it right away with the insight that the dopamine triggering behaviors that the human is wired to pursue, um, this generally involves novel stimulation. So it's easy to take a relationship for granted because we are wired for fresh, new, and exciting. And so we talk about the unique dynamics today where people can make a concerted decision to just engage in a series of short-term, exciting, fresh new relationships with the mobile device providing access like never before. And so the compromises and the strategies that we can use when we're immersed into long-term relationships to keep things fresh and exciting. One of those right out of the gate was you absolutely, essentially must have sexual intercourse once a week. And toward the end of the episode, he talks about why you don't want to do so more frequently. It has to do with male testosterone levels, and certainly not less frequently than that. It's vitally important to relationship health. He also talks about how vulnerability, especially when the female becomes vulnerable and asks for the male's help, is a huge turn on for the male and a huge relationship boost. He talks about how the brain's not fully formed until age 28. So you young listeners, your self-reflection really kicks in much later. And if you don't do some personal education, reflection, and strive for personal betterment as a young person, then the frontal lobes will not fully form. And so hopefully we have some young listeners getting deep into this and realizing that you're building the brain and all those great attributes. We talk about how cortisol antagonizes the optimal hormone balance for the male testosterone and the female estrogen. He talks about how young males in today's society are being demasculinized in many ways. You've heard him talk about the extreme destruction caused by the deadly combination of pornographic and video games. So the modern male is getting their biological drives assuaged by the combination of porn and video games to the detriment of their ability to go out there and compete and excel and conquer challenges and form meaningful personal relationships in today's world. We're going to have a lot of insights sprinkled in about how to get past relationship ruts, especially that familiar advice from the other shows that the man is to remain a kung fu master, calm, cool, and collected at all times. And when the male gets angry, it never ends well. Quote from John Gray, it always gets worse. Remember, the female's most profound biological driven fear today is the anger of her partner. And in the old days, it was getting the family eaten by a predator. And now, soberingly, it's the anger from their male partner. We get into dynamics with same-sex relationships because so much of the commentary is spit out with the familiar dynamics of the male and the female. And so John will help you there with some nuance. And finally, he leaves you with some beautiful tips to turn things around quickly. And they're so simple, they're so powerful. I want you to listen to these deeply. Again, John Gray has been such a life-changing influence on me and my partnership with Mia Moore. We love this guy. We're going to go to one of his live seminars. I hope to see you there sometime. But for now, please, please, please listen to the entire show and hopefully replay it on a regular basis because it's so rich in advice, information, and of course, entertainment and high energy from the one and the only John Gray.